justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the town of Highlands. We're going to start off, well, we did start off with an executive session at 6:30, which, Leslie, our executive session started at 10 minutes to 7 and ended just now, which would be 5 after 7. Okay, that was the executive session. No decisions were made in the executive session. Now, we have a public hearing on the community block grant for 2018. Mary Jane, you had an article in the paper which was slightly wrong about 50,000. No, that's cool, but I just want to, I'm saying that so anybody that did read your article would know what we're talking about. We've got $50,000, which is an accumulation of grants from 2016 and 17. Okay, and this is for 2018, for any public comment, suggestions for public work that could be done outside the village, because the village is not part of our community development funds and grants and what have you. And as we stand, our property owners are at such an income that we only can get grants for handicap and seniors. So I'll open the public hearing, which, let me just read.
You summarized it.
I did summarize it? All right.
Absolutely. It's to discuss any potential eligible projects for the
And
next.
this was advertised
Correct.
in the paper, so is there any comment on what we might do? And before I even ask for comment, we have to put in a project by the end of the month.
Correct.
Any public comment? Being no public comment, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Before we vote, does the town board have any suggestions or ideas that can be put forth in a week?
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Excel,
Aye.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza,
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire,
Aye.
Supervisor Lipson.
Aye. Is there any public comment on the,
So do you just not put forward a proposal? Just like skip it next year?
basically, yes, yes. It's a tough one in Fort Montgomery, it really is. And I mean, we've done what we could with the Brooks's Park. We still haven't done the last 2 years' worth of community development grants, which, that's going out to bid within the next week or two.
Were you able to find out if Mindock Park was eligible?
No, I didn't find out, no. I will. Todd, would you venture a guess for us? Mindock Park is now owned by the state, by Pepsi. Would we be able to get a grant for that through community development, Orange County Community
I'm
Development?
not sure if you could or not, but I would recommend you putting something in by Friday. No matter what. Because if you don't put it in, you'll never get it.
Yes,
So,
okay, okay.
A lot of times if they come back and they review it and they say, well, it's not eligible, they might give you a chance to push it somewhere else, so.
All right, thank you, thank you.
And we do have an agreement with PIPC for Mindock Park,
Yeah.
which kind of makes us responsible.
Right, right. Yeah, that might see us through, and considering that we're doing, Pepsi owns Brooks's Park.
Right. But I think there's a decent chance
Yeah.
when you show the contractual relationship.
Okay. All right.
So does that mean you might put something in?
Yes.
No, don't write that, please. Please, don't write that.
So cross it all out.
Please, cross it out.
Clear.
I'm sorry, was this like to make it better, or is this like a whole different project? I missed that part.
To make anything better, yes, yes.
This is specifically for Fort Montgomery?
Yes.
Ah.
All right, public comment on agenda items, anybody? Okay. And our last meeting, we have the minutes of April the 10th. One on venture approval?
I'll have to abstain.
Okay. And
Likewise.
you too. So the three of us, would you like to make a motion to
Make the motion.
approve the minutes?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
So carried. Communications. Okay. I have this here, which is posted on our bulletin board, and I think it might even be on Channel 23. If not, it will be. They are going to give a demonstration class that, Adrian, you were at earlier in the year, much early when Narcon first came out, on Saturday, May the 20th, from 10 to 11:30 at the Highland Falls Intermediate School Library, 52 Mountain Avenue. This is free to attend, but they need an RSVP. And this is training on the use of Narcon, and those that complete the class will get a Narcon kit.
To consent.
Is that on Channel 23?
If it's not on, it will be. I'll put it on, but this flyer is on our bulletin board. Right, Leslie?
Yes.
Okay. Could you see that it gets put on Channel 23 in case I forget? Which I'm known to forget things. Another announcement, Mine Torn Road, if anybody noticed, today it is closed. And it will be closed until further notice because I had to figure out what UXO means. What does UXO mean?
Unexploded ordnance.
There you go. Oh, I was looking in the back there, but I should have asked you, Todd. Has been found on or near, not on, I'll take that back, but near the road. So I guess they're going to clear that first or check it out. So until they do, the road will be closed. And Kelly, if you would put that on our website and remind Lisa to put it on 23. Todd, how much time do you have? You want to listen to us, or you want to do your presentation? Justin, why don't you and Todd get together on why he's here?
Sure. I'll let Todd do most of the talking, but you have a resolution before you ultimately to submit plans to the Orange County Department of Health related to the acquisition of the Corbin Hill water system. You've previously done public interest orders on the project, as well as the application to the Public Service Commission, but Todd sort of brought the hard copy of the plans and the actual nuts and bolts of the engineering that needs to occur.
Yeah, so I have copies here for you.
Okay.
I'll send these to Dawn and to Pat. What those are is the engineer report and the design plans to make connection to the Corbin Hill Water Corporation that's located about halfway up the hill in Corbin Hills. We're looking at doing a connection from Cherry Street and a connection from the rear of the Fort Montgomery Elementary School. And then what we'll do is leave the water plant, the water building in place, and some repiping work will be made within that building to basically swap the supply, which is now 3 wells that are supplying the water system, to the actual town water system coming into there as the new supply. So that engineer report details all the design parameters, the different phases of how we're going to stage it and phase it moving forward. And what we're looking for is, I know Pat and Dawn still have some comments and questions about what's there right now, so that's in draft format. What we're looking for is, and I believe the resolution, tell me if I'm wrong, Justin, states that as soon as Pat Patterson and Dawn Kaliski say that it's adequate, then that will give permission for the supervisor to sign.
That's how an engineer would say it, but, it's in substantially the form that's been presented to you, right? So if they have modest engineering tweaks, fine, right? If they have a concept change, then it would have to come back before the board for further approval.
So that's what I'm looking for, is just for the board to approve that resolution, giving us the ability to move forward once the town water consultant and the town's water superintendent agree that the engineering documents that are provided are adequate. And then we'll deal with comments, obviously there'll be some comments back from Orange County Department of Health, and we'll deal with those as we move forward.
Okay, on the engineering documents that you have here, I'm going to see that, Leslie, one copy gets put for the public to use somewhere in your office, and should they come in and ask for it. The other 3 copies will be in my office. I'd like to make one thing clear to the residents of Fort Montgomery Water District Number 2, which includes Corbin Hill, that everyone in the district will be paying equally. They'll be paying the same amount on their points, and they'll be paying the same amount for their water, and everyone in the district, including the homes on the above strip of Eagle Crest, will be paying the same as the people in the lower portion. There's been some question about that I just want to make perfectly clear, that there's no one in the district being excluded, at least from the points. If they don't hook up to the water, that's a different story.
Correct, and although all of Corbin Hill, which is your main point,
Yes.
will all be assigned the same amount of points, and that's accurate. There are other properties within the totality of the district that get different point assignments based on the nature of their property. I just don't want a lot of questions that suddenly everyone across the board is at the same point value. But all of Corbin Hill, that's correct, they're single-family usages. They'd all ultimately have 10-point assignments.
Everyone connected. No, even if they're not connected,
Even
they pay
if
the
they're
10
not
points.
in Corbin Hill, because
Yeah, because the size
But
of
there's
the,
no other way they have to get connected,
Right.
unless the houses on the hill want to drill a well, which would
correct.
be
Seems like an
up to
odd
them.
alternative.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Board, you got any questions for Todd? Nope. Anything? Anything at all?
Thank you.
You want to do the resolution now, or do you want to
As
wait
well,
for
while
general
it's fresh
business?
in our minds.
Sure, so it's just, again, to submit the application to the Orange County Department of Health, once it has been concurred to by your water consultant and water superintendent.
I'll ask for a motion to move the resolution.
so moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edsel.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Conklin.
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire.
Aye.
Supervisor Liston.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Todd didn't want to stay for our meeting. Go figure. In this last paying account, we paid out $42,017. The larger items were highway machinery, $2,726, tires, $2,996, vehicle maintenance from Durham's, $3,449. Now, you might wonder why that's so high. And periodically, during the year, Durham's comes out with this gigantic sale. Oil filters, all such things. Oil filters, I know, air filters, yada, yada, yada. So what we do is we go down and we buy up a whole bunch of stuff. So this isn't being used right away. It'll probably be used during the year, but it's a great way to get smart purchasing. O&R was $2,285. Legal services was $4,861. Assessors reval expenses. Now, that, by explaining that, when we did the big gigantic reval, we contracted with Robert Hilbert Services, and every year he does an update to the reval, and that's charged $2,000. Schmidt's Wholesale, the Water District Supplies, that was $6,105, and fuel consumption by Wex Bank was $3,780. Any questions on our expenses? Okay. We have some budget transfer requests. $140 from dog control other expenses to dog control equipment. This is for some repairs that were done in the dog pound that weren't budgeted for.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. $3,000, ambulance retirement to ambulance service award. The LoSAP was under budgeted for this year, and I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And I think it would be fair, Kelly, if you would explain to the board the retirement and how we can take money out of it and when we do.
Okay, so in this case, LoSAP is the Length of Service Award Program for the ambulance volunteers, and we underbudgeted by $3,000 this year. So I'm moving it from the regular retirement to LoSAP. I don't know yet what the 2017 retirement expense will be. I will know until closer to the end of the year, so there's a possibility that I may have to move something else to cover the retirement. But when there's a budget transfer needed in the benefits section of the department, I try to keep it within that area, so that's why I was taking it from retirement.
Thank you. Then we have $2,000 gifts and donations that will go into recreation supplies, and these are donations that was made to lacrosse, and he purchased a lacrosse shed. So that's just moving money from donations to supplies.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And board liaison reports. We can, Adrian, you have any?
You can start with me, we'll make it
That's
fast.
okay. Well-
I just returned today from being out of town for a few weeks, so I don't have anything to report, but it's nice to be back.
Thank you. Welcome back. June?
I don't really have anything to report. Everything's going smoothly at the police department. I don't know whether our deputy wanted to say anything or not. Okay. And I think everything's fine.
Thank you. Ty?
That kind of makes three of us. I was out of town too, but I will say something. I'm working on developing a survey to get out to the seniors. First of all, welcome everybody, and to see if I can get some information on the types of things that they like to see happening, whether it be social, whether it be dealing with their quality of life of some sort of way. So that's going to be something that you can look for coming from me directly in the near future.
Thank you, sir. And there's a trip to Monticello tomorrow?
Yes, that is tomorrow. I don't have the specifics on times. Do you have anything for us, Joy?
This bus will leave from here at 10 o'clock and will return at 6 o'clock.
And to your knowledge, I think there's still room on the buses, if anybody wants to go?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they're 50 years old and up.
And what's the cost, do you remember?
Cost is nothing.
Okay, that's part of our recreation
Yes,
service.
it's part of your recreation, but it is for 50-year-olds and up.
Very good.
Anybody has
Very
any,
good. Thank you. How high up?
98?
Okay. All right.
Can I touch on that for
Yes,
a second?
yes.
So that program is allowing all seniors in the community from 50 up, doesn't matter if you're a part of the Highlanders or not, to participate, free of charge. So please help get the word out, because again, it's a great opportunity. It's developed here in the recreation of the town of Highlands. Our coordinator, Dr. Matthews, is instrumental in bringing that to the table. So it's just a matter of now marketing and getting the word out so people can participate.
Well, if I could add to that, though, normally it's free of charge. Well, the buses are always free of charge. But then if we're going to someplace for a dinner or some kind of a program, then there would be the cost of that
Right.
program.
Yeah.
Which could be any price, whatever it costs the town to do the program.
Absolutely.
Okay, Bill, you got some stuff on the agenda with SO.
Besides that, they had the Green Day event at the library. Just a shout out to Olga Anderson and Barbara Minetti and those present for pulling that together. I wasn't able to attend, but heard they did a good job. And another shout out to Olga Anderson in particular. There's this all these NYSERDA things are hitting pretty quick and have deadlines, and we're one of the few communities, along with Newburgh and Orange County, participating in this this solarized program to put out an RFP to get companies to bid to bring solar energy cheaper into our communities. So Olga really helped out in providing a description for our community to that under the wire. I appreciate that. So
Yeah, I got your email on it. That's a good deal. Yes.
oh yeah, no pain and a little pain on Olga's part, and it's a good thing for them. I guess the other thing I need to work on is request a bid from O&R for buying their streetlights for the board to entertain. Just want to thank former trustee Bob Mellon for a lot of his input. The village is way ahead of us on this, thanks to him, and looks to be quite potentially lucrative for the town to go this direction, but I'll bring the information as I get it.
You know what we have to look into, now that we passed the town law on zombie telephone poles,
Correct.
we have to get together with me, you, and Pat and see how we enforce it. I know the enforcement's in there, but how do we start it?
Absolutely, right. So we just, I'm waiting on confirmation that the filing occurred at the Department of State, and then we can act in
Okay.
accordance with the law. Should have it any day now.
Okay. Then I'm sure we have forms and procedures or whatever else.
Yeah, the initial notice comes from the highway superintendent, so we
Yep.
will need to
I saw
coordinate
that,
with.
yeah. You laid it right on him with that, didn't you? I saw that. Last week or the week before, there was an informational meeting put on that I was invited to. The meeting was put on by our county legislator, Jim DeSalvo, and we had a number of people from the county that are involved in enforcement and drugs. We had the Orange County District Attorney's investigator that's stationed in Newburgh. We had K.T. Jones, who was an Orange County sheriff. The head of the Orange County, what do they call him, SOB team, I think it's called, SOB team. Mr. Weed, or Under Sheriff Weed. Then there was, from the village, one of the village police officers was there, Patrolman Clevo. There was Will Garcia, who's the chief investigator for the Orange County District Attorney's Office. The second in line, as far as district attorneys go, Chris Borick was there. Then we had the Tom Watson, who was the chief of the Orange County Drug Task Force. So it was an informational meeting. These gentlemen explained what they had to offer, and I was a guest, so we'll leave it at that. Beyond that, the water update. I checked with our water department today. Our water is limited. In other words, any water is a natural resource, but right now we're getting our water from Lusk Reservoir. Fortunately, we have this runoff pipe that comes below our water plant. And what they've done is they've diked that off. We have a very large pump there that's pulling 24 hours a day. It's bringing it around the front side of the water plant and putting it in the same way the stream would be coming into the water plant. It's tested more than any water's ever been tested. We've got the Department of State, Orange County Department of Health, and we've got our own people from the water plant sending samples out. So the water is definitely safe to drink. There's no problem with it. And as far as water restrictions, I don't know what to tell you. Just keep in mind that for about a month, it's going to take for them to remediate that stream. They have 3/4 of a mile of stream embankment that they've got to remediate and pull out and replace, and you can see all the work that's being done there. So for the next month or so, until we get on our regular water source, just keep in mind that filling your swimming pool up might not be the best thing to do right now, and things like that. Opening day for the Ponytails and Little League and softball players and what have you was really a great show again this year. They had a little parade through town, up to the field. All the participants were out in the field and were recognized by name and who they played with and why they were there. We played one Ponytail softball game and followed by a Little League game, and it was nice. And it was very much appreciated by, I think, the parents, where they've got girls on one team and boys on another, and they could at least see the whole group together at one time. And I know if I start naming names, I'm going to miss some people, but Anthony Farina, our recreation director, Aaron Falk, Pat Flynn, and Nick Padias, and Dean Yeager. I know I missed somebody. Our Assemblyman James Skoufis was there to wave and say hello to people. I had the privilege of throwing the first Ponytail ball out, and his first name, the Little League, Frank Taylor, threw out the ball. I think Frank and I have both been doing this stuff for at least 30 or more years. And my telephone is ringing, and it shouldn't be ringing, and that's it. Pat Patterson has been elected Vice President of the Orange County Highway Supervisors Association. That means that next year, he'll be the President of the Orange County Supervisors Association. That's a good organization, and he brings a lot of information back to us from that organization, so congratulations to Pat. Our dog pound was inspected on their yearly inspection, and it was, this is the sheet, everything on here says yes, everything was satisfactory. So everything is good down there. There was one minor infraction which is being taken care of, but other than that, they're doing a good job down there. And 100 years ago, I was dog control officer, and that place looks a lot nicer than I ever had it down there. And nice and clean, and she's doing a great job, our dog control officer. The county has gotten a letter, this letter I'm reading you off, and I'm only going to read a paragraph or so because it's a long letter. It's from the Association of Towns, and sent down from the governor in the state. Under the countywide plan, a representative from every town, village, and city in the county must participate in shared service panel chaired by the chief executive officer of the county. In other words, they're going to see what they can do to consolidate certain things in the county, towns, villages with each other, and if it doesn't, and there's also, if it doesn't work this time, if we don't get somewhere with it, they're going to do it again next year. So.
Was there a copy of that letter in there that we could view?
The one I just read from? Yes, I'll get you a copy, sure. I'll have, if you stop by, Leslie will have it for you, okay? Orange County, even though Adrian objected, Orange County put a resolution in asking the state to, this is an official resolution from the county, asking for the state to check the highway out on Storm King to see about lowering it from 55 to 45 miles an hour. What I didn't realize is when you get on the bottom of the hill in Cornwall, the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. So if you were coming south, you'd be doing 45 all the way through and over the mountain until you got down to our side. And not because the speed limit was 55, but if that oil truck hadn't been making a turn at the bottom of the hill and flipped over, we would have no problems with our water. So, and it was quite obvious that it was obvious to me. Deputy Chief, I don't know about you, but it was obvious. It was going too fast for road conditions, and he had just filled up in Newburgh, so he might have been a little bit top-heavy, too. Okay. Bill, the next thing on the agenda is you, I think. Even though I lost my agenda again. Oh, here it is. That would be, Bill, the...
Unified solar permit?
Pardon me?
Unified solar permit?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, we're just trying to make it easier for people to get a building permit in this town for putting solar panels up. And so we would be adopting it's not a local law, right, Justin? It's just a...
No, this is just a
commitment to
resolution
follow.
authorizing use of the state's unified solar permit, right? So if you meet the criteria of the state application, it doesn't go through further review. But you could contemplate a local law, probably not for this size project, but there are communities doing community solar or large-scale projects, and typically you would want those to go through some planning review to make sure it's sensitive to the neighbors or typical planning issues. But this is a more modest-scale project to allow residents to easily take advantage of solar.
Good for the installers, too. They know what to expect when they come into this community. It's not going to run into, some
Yeah.
curveball or something.
And it's part of the clean energy community
It's another one of our
that
high-impact actions.
that you looked at and previously passed one of the benchmarks for
Yep.
that process, which opens you up for grant funding and whatnot.
So this is 2 out of 4?
And Bruce and Kimberly were on board with this as well.
Okay, good, good. Is this something we're going to pass tonight? I would.
Yes.
So, there's,
So moved.
It's certainly in condition to be passed now if the board is
That's what I meant.
comfortable.
That's what I
Absolutely.
meant. Okay.
Yes.
And how does this tie up with the thing Olga Anderson did for us?
What Olga's doing is another aspect of this. What she's doing is pinpointing the group of us, Newburgh, Orange County, are looking for a particular contractor that'll come in and get, because of this RFQ process, will give even better deals to the community because through enhanced NYSERDA funding, and will also offer a discounted rate because of the marketing assistance they're getting as a result.
Is that something we're going to have to do a resolution on to allow us to send out RFPs?
No, that's already been done, just through a description of the community. I think that any kind of board action had to be.
Okay. You agree?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you could ratify the action if you wanted to, just to confirm it. But again, that's just a process to solicit information, right, and stem interest in it, and ultimately help your community vet the vendors, because it's a process. Again, I don't know how many have occurred in Highlands yet, but they're popping up all over the county. And like in any industry, right, you get some fly-by-night people who don't really know but right, solar is popular, so let's get involved. And so this RFP process will help in the vetting globally and really make it a more attractive community to come into. Certainly ratifying the actions are fine.
They have a group of volunteers lined up. There's a meeting first week of May 3rd, up in Newburgh, to just try to educate people about the whole thing, help with the marketing angle. It's nothing that says I can't go with contractor B. You just wouldn't get as good a potential deal.
Okay, and the RFPs will be taken care of by that group?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
What is RFP?
Sure, it's a request for proposals.
In other words, how much you going to charge me? How much you going to charge me? That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, I have this resolution to adopt the New York State Unified Solar Permit. Yes, I'm sorry.
Ray, Mrs.
I
Stratton.
just had one quick question, Bob.
Yes.
Remember in the past when we talked about this, I'm all in favor of the solar, but I was wondering about the decommission of the panels. Remember we discussed that, Bill? And I was just wondering if you guys have thought about the decommission of the panels once their usefulness of the panel itself is done. Or is that something we can add later on, I guess, would be a good question.
Yeah, I
Sure.
would say that's an add-on. This
Right,
is-
but
Okay.
But it is one of the significant issues, and why ultimately a local law, a comprehensive local law beyond the New York State permit, is a good idea, right? Again, we're fascinated by the technology and the industry and what happens on the back end in 20, 30 years when the useful life runs out. It also comes up in when people are selling homes and transferring homes and some of the lien rights, et cetera. So it's worthwhile to explore it again, in particular if you're going to end up with a larger scale project in your community. I think it should be planned.
Jim, are you familiar with the solar project the county has done and the contractor walked out on?
Which Jimmy is.
No, you-
He definitely.
Yes, yes, very. So is that still, hasn't been turned on, or,
It has not been turned on.
yeah?
It's a big solar company, and the project was completed, all the solar panels were put in, and for whatever reason, the big solar company, it's public knowledge, Solar City, which is a big, well-known name, solar panel company, and they had financial issues, whether it be money coming in or money going out. They couldn't get the project on time. We were supposed to start up probably 2 or 3 months ago. They were supposed to initiate. We were told April, end of April. Now
Not sure if that deadline's gonna be met. But it's a fairly large project, and it just was a little worrisome that, you know, a major solar company had financial issues. And I think a lot of that comes because most solar companies are subsidized by the federal government. Millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars are subsidized by these companies, which, you know, they're not putting the program down, it's just a reality. So eventually, at one point in the future, whether it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, that money's gonna continue to maybe be weaned off or dried up, and the actual costs, we won't know. So it'll be a board 20 years from now that'll have to deal with it. So, but for the overall county project, it has not turned on yet. They haven't walked away from the contract. We are in continued negotiations and dealing with them and working with them. But it's supposed to power the jail and 911 center, or at least the 911 center, and that has not been turned on yet.
So as of right now, it's a zombie field, huh?
Right now, it's a beautiful field of solar panels.
Okay.
I'll bring anybody up there if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's in Goshen, town of Goshen.
Yeah.
And it's next to the Orange County Jail, which probably a lot of people in this room don't know, but that's the emergency 911 building too in Goshen.
Who's the contractor? We know Solar City.
Solar City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they installed the panels. They're in charge of, you know, maintaining the panels, but somewhere along the lines of them putting all the panels in, according to their comments, the company, they said they had financial issues. So that was the reason why they couldn't get them on.
Then they had individual guys that were on jobs, like.
Yeah, they have a whole team that comes in and puts the panels up and all that.
Okay, let's get back to this resolution. I have a resolution to adopt the New York State Unified Solar Permit in the town of Highlands Clean Energy Communities. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Or, roll call, please.
Councilmember Etzel?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire?
Aye.
Supervisor Lipsy?
Aye. And Councilman Etzel, Computel Consultants.
So Computel was one of two consultants recommended by NYSERDA to do it's essentially a free audit of our past billing from O&R for a street lighting program. If there's a savings, you know, we will share in the savings with them. So it's no work on our part, and potential there. On first pass, I'm skeptical whether there'll be any, but
Uh-huh.
we'll see.
And what do we have to do on that? Okay, I see an authorized signature page.
There's a resolution.
Yeah, there's a resolution authorizing the contract with the company, and then they require just some basic information so that they can contact O&R. There's a letter of authorization.
And you're right, Bill. I mean, if they do not, there are no savings, it still doesn't cost us anything.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so then,
And
Sounds
it's
good.
prudent to have the audit before you approach O&R for the acquisition.
Right.
Because after the fact, you can't go backwards and audit them after.
Right, right.
okay, so I have the contract here, which I'll sign once we pass this. I have a resolution for the town of Highlands to authorize execution of an agreement between the town of Highlands and Computel Consultants on the streetlight audit. Move the motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Etzel?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Voltaire?
Aye.
Supervisor Lipsy?
Aye. Leslie, write yourself a note for me to get this done, and it has to be notarized. Thank you. Kelly, did you have anything to report? I skipped over you.
No.
Okay. Jim, did you have anything? Jim? Okay. Justin, do we cover all the business yet?
Everything,
You added a couple things that are not on the agenda.
Did Jim in the chamber have anything to say?
Oh, I'm going to get to them.
'Cause there's three of them there, all in a row.
All right, general public comment. Jim, the chamber. Yes.
I know that you've already passed the subject, but I had a solar specialist come to my house, and they offered me a 20-year contract to put the solar panels on my house for free. And I'd asked them was I able to save any of the energy that was collected from the solar panels? And the fact is that no, you don't get any of that energy. It goes right to the electric company, and then they sell you back the electric that you collected off your solar panels. And they promised a savings of anywhere from 25 to 50%. I had a neighbor fall for it, make that contract, and he gets a 5 to 10% savings only. He's then locked into a 20-year contract. And I was really upset to hear that happened. So just want you to be careful while you're checking these people that you're dealing with.
Thank you. Thank you. That's good to know. It's very good to know. Public comment? Anything else? Jim?
Just, thank you. Just an announcement, it's on Channel 23 also. Our next Chamber of Commerce meeting will be the 11th of May at the Bear Mountain Pizza and Cafe on 9W, the Old Oak Inn. We'll start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and James Skoufis is going to be our guest speaker. Also, and I'll be talking more about it at the Chamber of Commerce, but I had a meeting, just for everyone's information, had a meeting with the marketing and sales manager over at the AFI store on Post, the PX at West Point. Just sort of talking about the whole thing about doing business, teaming and partnering with the local community. They're very interested in doing that. And I'll go into more details about it during our Chamber of Commerce meeting, not to take up your time here. But one thing I would like to mention is if anyone is in the hair cutting, beautician, I'm struggling for words here.
Cosmetology?
Yeah, that type of stuff, that they are looking for someone to bid on the contract that is about to expire at West Point. They are required to have a barber shop by DOD, Department of Defense type of regulations, and they run a contract. So they're looking for anyone, and she's actually going to be in the town area, Fort Montgomery and Highland Falls, talking to barber shop and beauty salon owners to see if they might be interested in bidding on this contract. So she asked if I'd get the word out on that. There's also other small business opportunities in the future that the PX is going to be very interested in wanting to talk to some folks about and everything.
Very
So more to follow on that.
Thank you.
So thank you.
For the minutes, I forgot this earlier. Patrol Officer Paul Rapoli, R-A-P-O-L-I,
Holy.
has finished his 18 months probation, and Maria Barberis has finished her 18 months probation. So if you just enter that in the minutes. Any other public comment? Being none, June? You want to make a motion? Do we go into executive session?
All right, I'll make a motion to go into an executive session for personnel issues.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will not be coming out after the executive session.
We're staying here all night.
See you, Chief. Congratulations.
Maybe.